my family make a jokes like, Yandy, make me your extras. I can do a little bit acting. You serious or you making joke? I'm serious. I said, acting is really hard. Yeah, I can do that. Okay, let's try. What? I opened my phone and it's like, I'm rolling. So do something for me. What? Yeah, do the acting. And I push them and not like that. It's really hard. Just because it seems like people only talk and do that, it always feels like easy. And I come back to football again. We watch football match and we see Lionel Messi in the open goal and miss it. He said,
"You stupid."
It's Lionel Messi. If you're on that position, you even lose your breath after 10 minutes.
Yandy, you're considered one of Indonesia's most visionary storytellers. And before we get into that, I'd like to ask you a little bit about what you thought you wanted to be growing up. And you said basketball. I read that somewhere. So you really wanted to be a professional basketball player?
Yes.
You're quite tall.
So my dad played basketball a lot. So I grew up seeing it playing. We have a little bit basketball ring in the corner in the house. So when I get to junior high school, I joined the basketball club and I really enjoy it. And I have a quite high jump, vertical jump. So
you can slam dunk.
Yes. on the third grade, like 15 years old. So my coach always said, you will go to Indonesian League.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I can see that.
So did you make it to, how does it work in Indonesia? Like state level basketball or national basketball?
Pre-state basketball competition. So, but after that, when I, on that age, same age, 15, my dad passed away. So I didn't cry for like 8 years after he passed away.
Oh.
I don't know why. I don't try to, make it. I don't want to cry, so I get confused. Like, why everybody cry? I want to cry, but I cannot.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
And you were 15.
15, and I just get the answer last month, like because I make my recent movie Sore. I found that I'm actually mad to my dad when he's gone, like because I'm so close with him.
And you were young. It was like you left me here.
Yes,
that feeling.
Yes, I always and I hate smoke.
And he was smoking.
Yeah, he get a lung cancer. So I get the sentence when I make the movie. I always thought that my dad choose the cigarette rather than me.
That is very...
Yes, and I realized it on editing process. So I get cry, like, that's why.
8 years later? How many years later now?
No, so I cried 8 years later.
Oh, and then now it's even...
I understand why it's took very hard to grieve.
Yeah, to process what happened.
Yeah.
So Sore helped you process your grief and...
Accidentally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So that is... It's making my hair like, wow. And did it change how you felt? Like after that realization, like now sitting here, you said last month.
Yeah.
How's that made you?
I cannot see the impact yet now, but it feels more, I don't know how to say it, more relaxed to grieve about him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you think also because being a parent, having a family, now you can understand the father-child relationship, maybe?
Yeah. Last time I met my friend and she asked me, how are you, Yandy? And I'm so quick to answer. I wish, there's some of our friends get really offended when people ask, you're a woman and you work. How about your kid? Can you balance it? And they get offended, like, why women
always get asked
and have to choose? But from my side, I don't know. I just feel like I really won't get that question too.
Yeah.
I'm a man, but I always feel my body split to my daughter in my work. So if someone ask me to me, I will thank you for asking that. I'm always worried about that. Like, yeah. So after my dad passed away, I'm start to asking about afterlife. like where he will go, like to the heaven or someplace. Like, so I'm trying to find that way. So it leads me to my brother first time to accept Jesus,
Yeah.
and then he's really, if you watch the movie, kind of like Crow Zero or something, like the student who like to fight, go to club, have a lot of girls. That's him, man.
Oh wow! So he changed from this to this.
Yes, he changed really different. And in one day he asked me like, Yandy, ask me anything about Christianity. Oh wow! Oh okay. And then it changed my life. I lose a father figure. And when I learned about Jesus, I learned that the God come as a father, right? So it gave me a purpose. And one day at the youth service in Sunday, the preacher said like, everybody was designed since you're in your mother's womb by His own hand.
Right.
So He created you with His purpose. So He put some of a talent, the character, so you have a vision in your life. I start to ask like, is it my purpose of life really to become a basketball player? So I start to do, like, okay, how do I know that? I do fasting because like most 2 or 3 months, I non-stop fasting, like just to ask what's
to get an answer to
get
your
an answer.
purpose.
I hope I can hear some kind of like a voice, but there's nothing. Until one day, my friend who in school asked me to make a script for the drama because, Yandy, I see you make a little sketch in the church. Can you help me? I have a ujian test in school. I made it and then I give to them, and at the time they want to rehearse, I get sick. It's like monkeypox.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I get a heavy fever, and my mom said, "Stay at home, don't go." But when I want to rest, I imagine they perform, but not accurate like what I want when I write it. I take the blanket, I run from house. I come to that house, and they said, "Why you come?" Luckily, the house quite big.
Yeah.
So I sit like here.
Because you're like contagious.
Yes.
They don't want to become sick.
I sit over there and they practice rehearse really
and you
far
watched
away.
it.
And I shout really far and like, it's a way, they feel that way. I don't understand that's directing.
So that's how you
First time.
entered, like the first time you directed something, a play.
Yeah. And then they play, and then after that I go back home. My mom get crazy, really mad on me. So. But I feel...
And how old were you then?
16.
16.
Yes, only 1 year after that. So my mom know me as a very obedient kid. I never do any bad things because my old brother already did everything.
He's the naughty one.
Yeah, so I choose the other path. So, but on that day, I don't know where the brave come from to just run and do that. And even though my mom get really mad and I have a fever, I somehow feel an unexplained peace inside my heart. And then I just feel like if I choose this path, He will be happy.
Right.
So
did you, because I was saying, what was like, you grew up in Makassar, and I was going to ask you about, did your family support your interest in arts or wanting to become a director? But now you're sharing that it was very natural.
Yeah.
And did you study it then? You go to college or university to study film school of directing?
After that, I feel like, okay, I will go to direct the theater play. So I'm growing up I never thought to read books. Like in my family, that's not the culture to read the books. So I never read any books except the school books, etc. So one day I get my brother give me money. So I go to the mall, and I don't know what leads me to the store book, and I found there's a book on the shelf, and it's like uh, how to become a director, and then I just grab it, read it really fast. I really enjoy it, and I started confused because it's so technical. I almost to finish the book, and I read the cover, how to become a film director actually. So it get me more interesting, and I read who write it is Mr. Naratama, the lecturer at IKJ, Art Institute of Jakarta. So that's how I know. Oh, I feel I have to go there.
Wow. And I notice in your films you talk a lot about I feel like it's normal, everyday family moments, but a lot of family themes as well. And I watched you recently launched your movie
Satu Kakak.
in Malaysia, Satu Kakak Tujuh Ponakan in Malaysia, and I was watching it, and
Thank you.
it's very deep. The emotional, it hits you deep, right? So it's what one could say can be quite I don't know, it's a deep emotional weight. And so I wanted to ask you what, like, now that you've shared your that very strong emotional story of like becoming interested in directing, what draws you to create movies that touch on these topics or subjects? Because you have, like, if you see your movies, there's like a theme, right? There's a trend.
Yeah,
Do you
yeah.
think so? Do you think so?
I think that after a lot of people ask me, so
Like, why do you don't make a horror film?
that's a good topic. Since the first semester in film school, when it became to make, we have a class, directing class. We have to make a short film at the end of semester. So I get like, you have to tell the story now, Yandy. What? I don't have any story. I remember how to explain it. My assumption for now is maybe because I grew up in Makassar. My hometown is quite have a race discrimination because I'm Chinese look. So I spent my 18 years live in Makassar, only go to school, go to basketball field, and go to the church. Since I kid, I cannot play outside the house.
Oh.
If I go home after school, I ring the bell. It's like a thriller movie. Like my mom have to open the door fast because if too late, someone will pass and, hey, you're Chinese, and get hit by them only because the look.
Yeah.
So it make me kind of trapped. Only that. So I only have a family story in my baggage. Yeah. And then when I want to tell the story, I realized that, and my family, of course, is not perfect. Like people always say it's easy to love our family if they are really good, really kind. They're human. So so first I only have a family story, and second, if I want to tell about how to love the family, what can I take from my life is we cannot love our family genuinely from our heart because love cannot be created by human. We only can meneruskan, how to say it, forward it for someone who bigger than us. Because ourselves corrupted. So if we watch Satu Kakak Tujuh Ponakan at the end of story, we realize why Moko can be so kind, because he forwarded from Mas Atmo and Kak Agnes from the past.
Wow. And it's, even when I was listening to this director, not director, actually, she was a documentary maker, and she was giving a talk once, and she said there are, even when you think you're telling the truth, there are biases through your lens, right? So even when you pick up a camera and you think you're telling a story and this is a truth, maybe there are many different types of truth, but she's like, there's always a bias in the whoever's eyes, right? Through your eyes. So I'm just curious, like, do you, in your storytelling, what are you trying to communicate to people who come in and watch it?
That's actually the biggest struggle as a storyteller. If someone come to me and ask, "What's your challenge to make this kind of movie?" This kind of movie, that always be the biggest challenge. To be honest, when I write it, when I direct the cast, and even when I put the camera, I always ask the same question to my DOP. Like, we have this scene, we put the camera, the shot was really good, and before we take it, I feel uncomfortable with the shot, even though it's really good. I asked Dimas, my DOP, Dimas, why we put the camera here? Why, Yandy? Is it good? Yes, we put it here because we want to be look cool as a filmmaker, or the story needs to capture on this way. Dimas like this, and Yandy, yes, we want to look cool. Let's move the camera, find the heart of the scene. So, like, if we watch I watch football, and I listen a lot of football podcasts. It's about the player, the game, or how good you as a pundit, how to say that?
The pundit?
Yeah, the pundit, yes.
Yeah.
It's really tight, like sometimes you cannot decide that this is about what I'm saying or this is about me. So it's same like director or any kind of storyteller. When we want to tell a story, is that pure about the story, or you want to look cool as a storyteller?
You say when you make a film, it's about building trust with your audience. How do you think the audience? Because now I'm sure you've met lots of the people who've watched your movies in Indonesia, around the world. What do they say to you? Do they come up, Yandy, your film made me feel this, or this is something that happened to me when I was growing up, or how do they relate to your movies? Because it's quite relatable, some of your stories.
Yeah, when first time we screened the Satu Kakak in Jogja, in Jav, there is a young girl cry really massive, but at the lobby of cinema.
After she watched
the
movie.
show, and her eyes is like
not
empty,
a little cry, like a big cry.
A big cry, and then it become empty. And luckily, she is some of our friends. So our friend come to her and, why you cry that massive? Do you feel the same like Moko? And she said, I'm not the sandwich generation like Moko, but my husband is. We have a fight, like this is our marriage conflict already for 3 years. He have a struggle to carry his family. And I don't understand why he always feel like that until I watch this movie. Finally, I understand my husband. So yeah, it break our heart. So I think that's why we want to make movies. Yeah, on the some of screening Jatuh Cinta seperti di film-film, there is a girl 35 years old maybe cry, and he give a testimony like, I lost my husband already 5 years. My friend always said to me, open your heart, try another one. Nobody understand me, but I'm surprised there's a movie understand me. We stand in front of her and we get
yeah, cry. You cry, we all cry.
Yeah, like, oh my God, how far a movie can connect with people. It's amazing.
So, I mean, that makes me go, how do you write the script? How do you think, what is your starting point? Like, take me through when you sit there and you go, I want to make this a movie, or do you just think of a story or think of something you saw and then you start writing from there? What's your process?
The first step always having fun. Like I always interest for the inciting incident. Like, oh, how about we make this scene like this? And yeah, always having fun. But what makes me get, we have to write it now, this kind, we have to continue this idea, is when we get some kind of the fire, how to say that?
Yeah.
Like
when, a spark, something.
Yes, when we explore the possibility of the story, somehow we can look the reason behind the scene, and we understand the purpose. So, for example, for Sore, it's actually from my 2016 mini series on YouTube. It's about time travel wife. I made it when dating with my wife now. So I talk about relationship about the series. 8 years later, I want to make that as a movie, and I say to my producer, I never want to make an IP adaptation because it's promising to sell. Yeah. Yes, it's a good thing to talk about, but we still have to, some urgency to tell about the movie. So I found that my perspective about relationship after marriage, have 2 kids, is grow and become different.
Yeah.
At the past, I think people will change if we push her with some kind of whatever we do. But when I get married 6 years, I understand that as a couple, what we have to do is just love her unconditionally.
Yeah.
So people who get love unconditionally gain their self-worth. People who have
conditional, like where
yeah.
I'll only love you if
yeah.
this.
If people get unconditional love, they gain their self-worth and get more valuable about themselves. People who understand they're valuable mostly will choose a better decision in their life, by themselves. So that's how loving. So okay, we have to make the story again.
And how many films have you made now? How many movies?
Movies, 4.
4. And at this stage in your life, do you feel now it's your responsibility to keep making these type of movies? Because you know how important it is as the story you're telling and how you're connecting with your audience.
Yes.
Does that put pressure on you?
I'm afraid if I get tempted to tell the story that more showing about myself rather than the value. So, I have a lot of idea like action comedy, more fantasy story, but the gravity of the story is always about. This is very personal. I always believe if the way I become a director is that very some kind of spiritual.
Yeah.
So I always ask him and pray like, what do you want to tell to the world? Can I be a part of it? So
that's very powerful work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you the issues you explore, it's not just for an Indonesian audience, it's for a global audience. Everyone around the world can engage. And then your recent screening in Malaysia, did you speak to any of the fans in Malaysia? Did they share what they thought about Satu Kakak?
I read the comment in the social media. They said the same, that like what you say, they have a very deep connection, emotion while they watch the movie.
And now, you can understand the depth of the work. I feel like every movie you make, every story you tell has to have such a strong anchor. Like you said, the gravity needs to be there and a very clear purpose. And I think about children, not just Indonesia, all over the world, right? And I always say that creativity and curiosity are 2 qualities that we need to encourage in our children, right? But then do you think that is happening now in the younger generation of children? Creativity and curiosity? Because I feel with that, when you're curious about the world, when you're creative, it's not just for the arts, but it's for everything.
Yeah.
To be able to discover the world, to learn about the world, to innovate ideas, solutions, to change the world, to make the world better. Yeah. So do you think creativity and curiosity, is that something you've noticed amongst young children or younger generation, that is it getting better? Is it not getting better? Or have you observed anything?
I think it's getting better.
And also with, internet nowadays, right? You have access to so much.
Yes, internet is like a sword. Like you can make things.
It's a weapon for good or bad.
Yeah. When I raised my daughter, my wife read a lot of books, so I learned a lot from her. She said that, Yandy, do you know that on our when we are 3 years old, there's a label on it like teenager, like when we are 3. It's because finally our curiosity and our will grow in our heart. And we want to do a lot of things that we see our parents did. But our body not can do that yet. So we climb, we break the egg, we do anything. It's actually driven by curiosity. On our age, Asian parents, sorry, we get spanked, we get yelled on it. So unconsciously, we define curiosity as a danger. Like if we're curious, we get
in trouble.
Yes. So we start to lose our interest to the curiosity. But unfortunately, the curiosity is the most powerful ingredient when you want to go to school to learn. So for now, it's getting better. A lot of parents start to realize that and open the curiosity. But the internet feed the curiosity infinite, because they can access anything. Yes. Yeah. I think the accurate dose of internet depends on their age. It's really important.
Yeah, and I think so.
Yes. I teach in film school like 10 years. So I see the gradation of the student every year. The generation is changed. Simple case, like when I was in film school, our phone is still, Nokia. We don't have camera on that. So we are unfamiliar with frame. So in pre-production, we are really think about the frame, like where I want to put the camera. The camera rental is really pricey. When it arrives, it has to be effective and etc. But now, people get frame on their phone. So the concentration and honor and respect to the framing is, not the same like old days. I don't want to be, kind of, the old days is better. But I believe if we use old classic value, it make you further rather than any generation. So if the kid has internet now and it fit their curiosity, but if we treat that with old classic value about to learn, we will,
you need sort of ethics or morals to guide how you use it.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. But interesting, you brought up that now, you notice the changes in the different generations in your class. And now people say now everyone is a storyteller. Everyone is a camera, a photographer, videographer. Everyone can communicate, right, in a way that can reach thousands and millions of people around the world. Yeah. What do you think of that? Because I can whip up my phone today and tell a story. And that's a very powerful... Sometimes they tell too many stories. Sometimes the stories are not very good. What do you think of that?
I think it's a...
Do you encounter that in the classes as well? Everyone is...
Yes, I think it's a world issue.
Yeah.
Because a football star now is no more than 10 names. If we go to 2000, early 2000, we can name a lot of star football. And if you realize, for example, Brazil don't have any star anymore now. Football star.
Okay.
Last time we had maybe Neymar.
Yeah.
After that, no one. Why? Brazil is, kind of poor country. Before internet era, kid, if they want to play, they have to go to outside the house, play football, and recognize their own talent and go ahead. Now, just open your phone. So internet.
Kids are not leaving the house as much. They're not exploring their talent as much.
Yes. I believe some of kids actually born to be a football star in there,
but they're
they
not
miss
realizing.
That. Yes, because what you do is, this is crazy. My wife asked me like, Yandy, people dance on social media, like that's also an art, right? What it feels wrong? I said, dancing it's actually an art, right? If you want to do that, you have a long discipline.
Yeah.
Sometimes most of them in group. Most of them do that in a group. So you have a different friend, different character. You know each other. Someone get late to the practice. When you want to perform, you stand behind the stage and like, can we do that? And then you perform. Your friend get nervous. Sometimes
It's not just the discipline of dancing. It's the whole thing. All the skills that you learn, teamwork, communication, failure.
Yes, and you get appreciation after that. A lot of spectrums you get, but on social media it's only 3-5 minutes. You did that with that move, and you get a lot of affection. Really fast. It cut all the process that actually more important than the result. So
it's an interesting perspective to look at it that way.
We can see that in arts, sport. So all the generation, we heard that on social media. The CEO complained about the performance of Gen Z. You know, like even in economic, it's I think it's a global issue. Sometimes I said like we have to treat social media like cigar. After 18, that you can access it. I said to
not at 12, not at 14.
I said to my wife, for example, if our house is very big, we have a room can fill with 500 of kids on our daughter age. Will you put our daughter in there like for 3, 5, or 24 hours without any parents watching? No. That's internet. They're connected all the time on their age. So yeah.
Scary.
Yeah.
How old is your daughter?
The first is 5 and the second is 2.
Okay, so very young still.
Yeah.
But it makes you think, right? In 10 years' time, what is the internet going to look like? What is technology going to look like? And how are children going to be interacting with it? Because even in schools nowadays, everything is changing, right? Where now schools are using a lot of technology in the classroom. So it's shifting.
Yeah, that's why I try to invest the connection to them since now.
I think that's the most important
So
part.
I hope when the time they ask, Daddy, can I have a social media? And say no.
They don't like.
They will still trust me as a parent.
Yeah, that's true. Is there a special project that you've been working on, but you're not going to release it yet to the public? Is there anything special that I would like to do this one day?
It's there is a more romance fantasy movie, action comedy, and after Sore there is the movie about couple relationship again.
Okay.
You're probably here because you're curious about Yandy Laurens, and that's the same curiosity I had when I started Debonair, to have honest conversations about how we live, what we value, and the choices that shape us. In season 1, we spoke to inspiring Malaysians, and it became clear that these stories weren't just local. They were real, relatable, and worth sharing far beyond our borders. So now we're in Jakarta, exploring voices from around the region, starting with Indonesia. This podcast keeps on teaching through our guests. Thank you for subscribing and for being here as we learn from each other.
Yeah. So we know Indonesian cinema is becoming more global. There is a appetite for Indonesian movies around the world, and I think I think also not just Indonesia but Southeast Asia. There's a growing audience for these movies as well. And your recent movie, Sore, you shot that in 3 countries: Indonesia, Finland, and Croatia. Wow! So I'm guessing that's a big budget.
Yeah.
So how do you? I guess tell me about how you ended up shooting the film in 3 different countries and what you think about the growing appetite or demand for Indonesian movies is.
When I read the Finland scene in Sore, I read it and ready to get omitted by my producer because it's shot in Finland really far. But when Surena Paramita, my producer, read the whole script, she understand and agree that we need to shoot on Finland and Croatia too. So it took me 2 years because sorry, it's actually my first film in my own company.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah, and it took me 2 years to find investor want to trust to invest their money. It's also big budget. I thought before after Jatuh Cinta seperti di film-film successfully in market like 650,000 audience, it will get me easier to get investor.
Investors?
Like I want to say, hey, recently I make a black and white movie and it works.
Yeah.
Now it's not black and white. Can it work? But the answer is really amazing that some investors, a lot of investors are like, Yandy, why you don't make with the same budget? That's your market. No. So yeah, it took me 2 years to find someone who want to trust me. So
is it hard still to get, because you can have a great screenplay, you can have a great idea, but if you have no money, and that's the problem even in Malaysia, you see a lot of artists and people, creative artists, they just don't get the money. The money isn't in the industry to support this sort of expression.
With all the respect and honor to all the investors, I found out that a lot of investors didn't do the deep research of the industry before they jump in. Okay. I do believe if they want, there's some of them is already build a big company and they start to, what can I do, invest more another field. If they want to run a restaurant, I do believe they will do a good research about which chef I will hire or which the manager, etc. But when they jump to the movie, all of them it seems like a little bit sense of gambling. Like they're more interested to invest like 10 movies in the same time.
Oh.
Like I put the budget is small. I put and most of them is horror. Because horror is more cheaper. I don't know why.
And is it the risk if we make a horror film, it will become more successful?
Yes.
If we make this film, I'm not sure, it's a bit,
Yeah, so they put their money in the 10 different movies at the same time in 1 year.
Wow. It's like, it really is like gambling.
Yes, 9 movies flop, 1 success. This success can repay all. Okay. Yeah, so when I come with the concept, with the idea, like, Yandy, make more cheap. You just my another pocket. So make it small. Yeah, it's really hard.
So you have to find investors that really understand what you're trying to create and really believe in your vision.
And interest, the interest of the movie is not the business side only, but the story. And of course, I have to make the business plan to be responsible about the project. Yeah. But look at the story side too, like that.
Yeah. So I don't think we can talk about movies without talking about K-pop, K-Town, K-everything. Yeah. And I know that there's a big market for like K-movies, dramas here in Indonesia, and of course many countries, but here there's a very big market here. What do you think they're doing right in Korea? And is it something that like, is Indonesian film trying to create it, copy it, or because I was in Seoul a few years ago, and I met this lecturer, and I think he was a director or something, but he was telling us about how they plan the entire, like, it's like a strategic plan to build Korean dramas, music, the whole thing. And it's not just 5 years, 10 years, like 30, 40 years. It's like, and the government's involved in it, and they put so much money to build this massive industry. So I was like, wow, it's not like it didn't happen by mistake,
Yeah.
So
it's
are there lessons that like other countries are learning from what Korea has done?
Yeah, I don't think a lot of countries already can do that because it's really hard to do. I heard that one of our associate producer, Mexori, is a Korean filmmaker. It's from Korea. So they I heard that they make a 20 years plan of a creative industry, and they sign that whoever the president will continue this plan. So yeah, they started from food, from music and etc. So they become integrated campaign of their culture. So nowadays, if we go to Western country, We don't see only for like find a Asian food is Chinese food. We will find Korean restaurant with Korean music inside. So there's a very big plan, but it's kind of hard because it needs a consistency like 20 years.
Yeah.
A lot of department in government
Need to work
to
together.
stay loyal with the plan, to not change that. I believe the country that can run it have to be agree that culture is not just to sell to become an income, but it become a pride and identity too. That's how what I always come back to football. So
Yeah,
that's why World Cup really important. It's just not about the sport or medal or cup. It's about the pride, the identity that make you proud to become wherever your country is. Like film, sometimes same like that.
Do you see that happening a little bit in Southeast Asia? Or maybe my question is like, what would you like to see happen for film in Indonesia or Southeast Asia? Because the challenge also is different language, right? But then you look at Korean films, it's Korean, no one understands Korean. So.
I think we have to do what I want to happen is we change the perspective how we see the art at all. Like when I'm in elementary school, how I know art is, sit down, read a lot of paper, play flute, play pianica. How to say pianica? Like the organ that you blow it, like, and it's really crazy. And when you get to junior high school, art is treated like another discipline that, yes, you have just to know that. But the most important of art for our life is appreciation. Because art is the only subject that no one can get wrong. Like every opinion is true because our reaction to the art is, the spectrum is really wide. It depends on your character. It depends how you get raised. What do you feel? And you can say the different opinion with the same art.
Yeah.
So we are humans start to understand that we are so different and we respect that all. So I think in the school, in Southeast Asia, I hope we change the way we teach art to our kids. It's about appreciation. It's not about how to draw really good, but it's about how you express your feeling.
Yeah, that's very profound.
Yes, and then after that, it's not about who picture is better, but what do you think about your picture? What do you think about others? And you discuss about that. So the teacher can, see they grow their mentally, their emotional intelligence, and after that, if you found a talented kid, you can tell them, you can continue this. You're good at this. So no pressure. So what we are making is, in the future, you will raise a good talent since kid, but the audience is grow with a familiarity with appreciation art. We will see more a young couple go date to the arts museum, etc., and talk about that. But not only about the art, but they try to connect the art to their own life and have a more discussion about. I think what is the most important after watch movie is sit down, feel it, and talk. So if we started from school, at the maybe 20 years later, maybe this is different approach with Korean. We rise it inside, not the business side. Have
you met with the Ministry of Education yet?
What's tell this?
You can. I think that's a great idea. I have a school in Malaysia for refugees. I'm going to take your idea. I'm going to implement it.
Yes, and even though they go to another discipline, we always can find a successful person in their field, like a businessman or whatever you can say, has a very sensitive appreciation of art.
Yeah. A lot of it's true. A lot of times people just don't value or have time for it, And when you don't realize creativity, curiosity, expression, empathy comes from that place, right? Yes, you should push the education system
Hopefully.
to revolutionize how we teach art
Yeah.
and experience it. How has fatherhood, you became a dad, you spoke about your two daughters. How has that changed you as a person? And I think you spoke a little bit about that earlier when you talked about your relationship with your father. Do you feel that now, I mean, you're saying some of the movies it comes through, do you feel that now a lot of the work you do is really about children, that next generation?
Sorry, can you?
Like fatherhood, being a dad and thinking about your daughters, but also that next generation, wanting to make sure that, they get the best and they get what's right for them, the right support. Do you feel that you need to communicate that through your movies?
Yeah, it's actually I'm developing one of that story too. Yeah, it's about education in early age. Yeah, maybe it's the genre is rom-com actually.
Okay.
Yeah, but it will tell the story about that.
Okay. And you also work with a lot of young actors, right? Do you like working with young actors and kind of helping guide them and support them?
They are amazing.
Yeah?
Yeah, with Satu Kakak Tujuh Ponakan,
You had so many children.
Yeah.
How did you control them on set? It must have been fun.
Surprisingly, they are so disciplined. And the bond is really, really, really honest. Until today, we still contact each other.
Oh wow! So, and were they actors before that or no?
Yes.
Oh, they are actors.
Only one, Ano, is a debut on there. I met Ano on a seminar in Makassar. Okay. I'm a speaker. While I speak, I see like, this is the actor I'm looking for. So after that, I come to him and do you want to become try to casting? Yeah, and we get him. But what is amazing about this young generation, they are fully, how to say that, mindful about themselves, especially their feelings. And they don't mind to talk about their feelings. And they get, quick to open.
Yeah.
And easy to trust. On the other side, it's dangerous if they meet the wrong person. But so yeah, we connected, and I sometimes when I have to drive like 1 hour, I connect to the Bluetooth. Even I call one of them and like, how are you? Yeah, and they start to explain, etc. Sometimes they come to me first, like, Yandy, do you have free time? Yeah.
Have their lives changed after the movie?
Yeah, one of them, even after the first time she watched the movie, he said like, I'm in my lowest point of my life, Yandy. So this movie will be my, how to say, pecut. I will hit myself with this movie if that question comes again, that you're not worthy and you're not good enough. I will say,
how old?
How old is she? Like 19 something.
Why do so many people feel they're not worthy, they're not good enough? Like, do you encounter that where people feel that way? What is it? Has something very bad happened in their life, or is it society? Is it just never feeling good enough to the level, the benchmark?
I don't know, but I think I feel the same too when I'm on that age, because it's like I read Erik Erikson states age development. On their age, their fit to develop of psychology is fidelity. And what their fight is, they fight for identity versus, I not get wrong, confused about themselves.
Okay. So you're still self-discovery.
On their age, yeah. That's why on their age, social opinion is really important on our age. But on our generation, Deborah, we only face our school.
We didn't face the internet.
Yes.
Hundreds and millions of people.
Now they face the world.
Yeah.
It's just
the pressure is too much.
Yeah, it's just too much on their age.
And then I guess with the Satu Kakak, premiering, and Do you think it's helped a lot of people with families? You talk about the sandwich generation. We talk about the burden that so many, especially Asian families, you have to take care of your parents, and then you have your children, and the responsibility is very heavy. Do you think that has given people perspectives? And also for older generation, right? Don't put the burden on your children.
Yeah, hopefully.
Hopefully, don't expect your Anna have to take care of you for your whole life, right?
Yeah, I watched in the social media. They mentioned that after the movie they have a really big family meeting, like with a different age, and they start to talk what happened between them. When I want to write the Satu Kata Tujuh Ponakan, it's about sandwich generation. I realized that sandwich generation label is it's actually developed from the economic perspective. They see the generation and they say, this generation is sandwich because. But when you label it on yourself, suddenly you feel as a victim because I want to become a sandwich. Because 20 years old, people will say it berbakti, like dedicated to your family, to loving them. But now it's like you birth with loan.
Yes.
So the first, it's attack the psychology of people who do that. The second, the most important is, I talked to Ringo, Eka. We are really close friend, and we are both of us a sandwich. We talk how we can finish this problem, etc. And we said it come to conclusion, maybe if we have a lot of money, it can be done. Yeah, and suddenly, one of our friends come with a very luxury car. She's more rich than us.
Did you solve the problem?
No. So maybe the world is not the answer. And I start to do the research, and I realized that scene where people start to show their phone and look, my conversation with my dad is only ask for the money, no more ask about how are you and etc. So I found this, they were providing its father or mother job. If, for example, if we are siblings and you're my sister, suddenly you taking care of my life, you pay for my school, and you did it honestly because you love me, because of love. Suddenly you put money between me. I feel guilty that, Kak Deborah, if you don't pay my tuition, maybe you have more better life. And I don't want to say that. I keep it in my heart. And because you're human, sometimes in your lonely time, you will thought that if I don't take care of Yandy, maybe I get better life. But Deborah, don't think about that. It's your brother.
You have to.
And you keep that.
Yeah.
Suddenly, you did that sacrifice because of love, but that sacrifice make our relationship different.
Yes.
And we don't want to talk about that.
And after time,
we more
distant.
And that's because I feel guilty with you.
Yeah.
I will only find you just very little. Kak Deborah, I need money. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
And you will start, anyway, you never ask about myself.
Yeah.
I feel I don't have that rights to do that. I'm bad to you. So that's what Satu Kakak trying to talk about. The family start to talk why they don't want to talk because of money.
Yeah, wow. I really hope it makes people, I think the first step, if they can't change, is to just think about what someone goes through.
Yeah.
It's so important. And how would you, what advice would you give to, your career, your journey is very unique, being a film director. What about all the young, aspiring, creative talent out there? They want to be directors, they want to be storytellers. What advice would you give to them? In today's, make your own movie, put it on YouTube. How do you get investors? A lot of people struggle with, getting the support, right?
Yeah. Maybe just make your first movie, just make it, and then show it as much as possible to everyone and hear their opinion. But I think whatever do you want to become, it's the profession has how to say that, complex way to do that. You have to observe that especially if you talk about movie, it's a trap. Like, for example, I met a lot of my family make a jokes like, Yandy, make me your extras. I can do a little bit acting. It's like, you serious or are you making joke? I'm serious. I said, acting is really hard. Yeah, I can do that. Okay, let's try. What? I open my phone and it's like, I'm rolling. So do something for me. What? Yeah, do the acting. And I push them, and not like that. And I start to show them their eyes in the frame. It's really hard. Just because it seems like people only talk and do that, it always feels like easy. And I come back to football again. If we watch movie, we watch football match and we see Lionel Messi in the open goal and miss it. He said,
"You stupid.
why you do that? It's Lionel Messi." If you're on that position, you even lose your breath after 10 minutes. Like, I recently buy a camera. I want to start to learn photography. I capture and I found it's really hard. So last time I saw the still photo of Sore, and there's a lot of night scene. And I said to Josh Felix, my photographer, now I know this is really hard. Before that, I said, hey, this is a good photo. Now I said, for me to make this, impossible. Because I start to see the stair of way to learning, and it's incredible. I think all the profession like that, like even presenter, everything is really hard. So if you want to choose that, don't look at the candy, like, it's really kind of cool to become. Look the real stairs. Be curious about education of that discipline. If you don't like go to film school because you don't like formal education, it's okay. Choose your own way to learn. But education in any kind of form is really important. Choose that way. Educate yourself about what you interest for.
Yeah, that's such an important point, because I think a lot of times we sit on the outside and we judge, like, that's not good enough, this is good enough. And we don't value or respect what that other person is bringing to the table. But that's, I think, we always talk about, if you want to, the importance of not just what you ask people to do, you have to do it yourself. They say even in business, when you do it yourself, you learn the challenges, the ways of doing something and the ways of not doing something. And we even sit here on the set, right? It's easy to look around and be like, but you realize and respect the small things.
For decades, we have a bias of it. We like the quotes like, you can be whatever you want. It's good for your heart, but it's actually really danger. Like, because I have a friend who dropped out himself from film school after semester 4, and I asked him why, and he said, Yandy, I was promised to myself I will make 3 short movies in film school. I will judge myself. I can be director or not based on the 3 movies.
Wow, and he?
No, I'm not a director. So he get out, and now we met. He is a successful businessman in Japan.
That's another hard, I think we call it a hard truth. You can say that you can be whatever you want to be, try your best, try your hardest, but at some point, and that comes with, I think, maturity or some wisdom, to be honest with yourself.
Correct.
And how do you get to that point? Interesting. But it is funny because yesterday the team were asking me about, like, oh, why didn't you go into acting? So I started my career when I was 16 years old in fashion and hosting. And I said, I tried a little bit of acting, and I don't think I would watch me. I don't think I would hire me. So it was like, maybe that's not for me. But also, I wasn't passionate about it. So I passion, but also discipline or excellence, being really good at it. These 2 things perhaps come together.
Become objective about yourself.
Yeah, that's important. So what does Yandy do to de-stress, to relax when you're not, you obviously you're not in front of the camera, you're behind the camera, but even away from the world of movies and film and production, what do you do to, relax? But also, do you ever feel that you run out of creative juice, like you feel empty, or you need to go somewhere to feel creative again? what do you do? Because I know with writers, they say sometimes you have writer's block, you know, and they cannot write anything. So have you ever experienced that? Or yeah.
There is a different level of writer's block. so for if I already get what I want to say and I don't know how to tell it, I always get the answer when I talk to people. Like I always come to my friend. Some of them is not in a film industry, and I said, "Do you have any time to hear my story?" Okay, Yandy, what? And this is a story, and I recognize my story is good or not from their micro expression when they listen to me. That my story interests or not, they get curious or not, they get loose or not. So I do it repeatedly to many friends, and it made me, this is the better way to say that. That's the very surface of writer block. If I don't know, I have writer block of the essence of the movie. I start to talk something personal about life with my friends. Or most of the time too, I get it from the Bible actually. Like, this is the answer about what I'm questioning that. Like for example, Satu Kakak, when I read about the sandwich generation, I don't have the gravity yet. Until I found what sandwich generation really looking for is the reconnection with family. The wealth, the money will come after that. So what I did is a lot of research, like talk, read the books, read the Bible, and etc. But on the lowest point, if I start to asking, what you really, there's a hard time, right? Like you start to asking, am I a good writer? Am I a good director?
Everyone goes through that, huh?
Yes. Every day, Deborah, I only can write maximum 3 pages of script. Because when I write it, I say the dialogue loudly. Like I try to play it with my limited skill of actor. Like because sometimes when you write it, you read it in your mind, it sounds good. But when you say it, it's terrible.
Yeah.
Many of the time I cry in front of my laptop because the scene's actually sad. I feel that. So it makes me only can write 3 pages maximum. It's really exhausting. One day, I'm driving my daughter to school. I always drive my daughter to school, and I park beside the school. There's a cafe. I wait her school, writing the script. So I start to have an internal conversation that Aaron Sirkin, the famous writer, always said that too. When you want to write, you have to feel comfortable about yourself. Like sometimes when I write, I open my watch, like, feel comfortable about my body. The air condition must be very correct, and etc. And then there's a conversation like, Yandy, why you always find the comfortable situation about yourself when you want to write? Okay, why do you want? You're a good writer. Okay, self-confidence. Yeah, I'm a good writer. Actually, I'm in the writer block. Okay. I will write because I'm a good writer, not because I'm in a good condition. I'm trying to comfort myself. Yandy, stop find a comfort, mental and etc. When you want to write. You're a good writer, just write it. And there's a voice like this. Yandy, why you write because you are a good writer? You write because I'm a good God. Like, do you remember how you come to this place? Like, you write because I'm good. Suddenly, when I drive, I break in tears. My daughter, Daddy, what happened to you? No, I just feel this way, and I feel loved by God. It's very spiritual. I drop her. I write in 3 hours, 30 pages, nonstop. It's really fast.
Yeah.
Really fast, 30 pages. If you already watched the movie, right?
Yeah.
It is the scene where Moko finished the presentation and get wrong and go to the ice and talk. From that to the finish, it's only 2 hours, like really fast. And then in the afternoon, we have meeting with Palaves, the producer. And Palaves, how's the script? Pak, the script actually finished, but I'm really afraid to show you because I don't reread it again. It's just really fast. I never did it like this. It's 30 pages in 2 hours. It may be crazy, I don't know. Okay, let's read it. we read it, like 7 people. They laugh, some of them cry, and they said, "This is amazing." I even said, "How can I write this really fast?" And the feelings, the dialogue is really accurate. We don't have the cast yet on that time, and they said, I even can imagine the actor, the fictive actor, no exist just by read the line. So it's just like,
Sounds like magical.
yeah. I hope that happen every time.
If only it's that easy.
yeah. So maybe from that accident, if I hit the lowest point again, let's try to seek, make a conversation in pray, maybe. Ask him again.
Well, thank you so much for speaking with me. I was, watched some of your snippets of some of your movies, and you could see that when people say Yandy is a director, your movies really touch deep. They hit deep. But now, after speaking with you today, it's, so profound. Like your creative process, where you come from, and I think I would say like it just feels very pure in the stories you want to tell. So a lot of respect for you and the work that you do. Thank you. Thank you for being so open and for sharing so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.